Hello.
Hello
Hear me?
sa lahat ng mga nanonood sa Luminous. Attorney,
Yes.
nasan ka na?
Meron ako problema yung camera ko ngayon, naglolo ko.
Nagluloko
So,
ang camera ni awesome Attorney Ahmed. Okay, so and we are waiting for mahal na Rina, Edwin Jamora to join us
yes.
today. So greet
So,
muna tayo sa mga
yes.
fans and followers ng Luminous. We have Barbara. Hello, good afternoon. Si Pinay Paparazzi is here. O sige, sabihin ko na lang yung greeting mo. Awesome Ahmed. Ayan na si Reyna. Hello.
Hello.
Wala kang mic, wala kang audio.
Wala akong audio.
I cannot hear you.
Meron na.
Unmute mo muna ang self mo.
Meron na.
So, okay, habang hinihintay natin ang mahal na
Meron
Reyna,
na.
okay, ang queen, okay, habang wala kang audio,
Kasi-
Reigns.
Wala pa
Meron.
Okay, hello muna tayo kay Medi at saka kay Feisty Zest. Good afternoon daw, Attorney Ahmed. Saka si Riley Chan. Sinasagot ni Riley yung majowa.
Oo nga.
Yan po yung topic last time. Okay, lumabas po kasi yan. Okay, tapos si
Hoy, meron daw
Alas
akong
Malu,
audio.
hello. Wala ka talagang audio, Reigns.
Merong audio.
Okay.
Meron na.
Tingnan mo muna, baka may na-unplug ka. Okay,
Ba't
hello
naririnig
si
ko si
Ying.
Reyna?
Hello, si
Naririnig ko
Melvin.
si Reyna.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay, hello kay Attorney Awesome from Yingli. Si Fujiko, listening while working. Hello po. Okay, so si Marian Shoko, heart lang ang sinend. Okay,
Ang
tapos
yari.
sino pa ba? Oh, hello, mahal na Reyna, sabi ni Ying. Inihintay muna natin kasi ang audio ni mahal na Reyna hindi pa on. Yun.
May audio daw ako, naririnig
Okay.
ni ano.
Ay, naririnig ka daw nila, pero hindi kita naririnig.
Baka yung ikaw hindi nakarinig kay Reyna.
Paano tayo magkakarinigan yan? Hindi
Okay,
ko rin
can you hear me now?
naririnig si Ahmed.
Oo,
I think
naririnig
he's
ko si
around.
Reyna.
Paano ba to? Okay.
Paano
Hi,
tayo na?
Apple, Macy, si
Sandali, dito nga
Jedi,
ako.
si Santa,
Tingnan mo nga dito.
River. Okay, saka si Lynn. Paano ba tayo nito kasi wala si Ahmed sa camera, hindi kami magkarinigan ni mahal na Reyna.
Tawag nito.
How do we do this? Okay.
Naririnig ko si
Ayan si Ahmed,
si Range. Naririnig ko si Range.
Okay,
Pero
pero
yan
nagluloko
yung
daw ang
camera
camera niya eh.
Can you hear me, Hedda? Hedda, can you hear me? Hindi nga ako naririnig ni Hedda. Naririnig mo siya,
Okay.
Edwin?
Ako munang lalabas
Naririnig ko siya.
kasi they can hear you. Okay? So I will
Wala
get
yatang
out and then
monitor to
come
si
back.
Hedda.
Okay, and then titingnan
Walang monitor
natin.
to si
Okay,
Hedda.
ikaw na muna. Ang topic ngayon, what is the
Oh,
meaning of life?
naririnig ko si Hedda.
Hindi ako siguro kasi hindi ako ang hindi nakakarinig. Sandali ha.
Oh,
Ikaw muna. Okay, ikaw muna, you take it away. Wait lang, I'm
Okay,
coming
si
back.
Range muna.
So, ano ba ang topic for today?
I will come back. Wait.
Kasi ako, I was actually studying or I've been reading a lot on the German elections on kung paano nila ginagawa yung elections nila. Kasi I've been reading a lot of things na napaka-complicated daw ng German elections. And the reason why I was sort of interested with the German elections, given during the committee hearing on constitutional amendments with Robin Padilla, mention ni Professor Clarita Carlos na sabi niya she would suggest that if we go parliamentary, ang gayahin daw natin. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Okay. So, ang sabi ni Professor Clarita Carlos, ang gayahin daw natin yung German Parliament. And then right after that, what do you call this, Clarita Carlos comment, ang dami kong nabasa na may mga patutsada pa nga kay Robin Padilla na, the German elections is very complicated that Germans themselves don't even understand how it's being done. So, you expect Robin Padilla daw to understand it? Sabi ko, grabe naman ako, mga leche, mga comment, right? So, I spent half of my day, not really half, siguro mga 2 hours, 3 hours, trying to understand and learn, what do you call this? how the Germans vote. So meron pala silang Bundestag and Bundesrat. Yung Bundestag, ito yung parang elections nila which is very similar to the House of Representatives in the US. Or parang election ng ating mga congressman. Parang ganon.
Interesting.
Ngayon, yung Bundestag has like 598 seats. Yeah. Pero, hindi yan fixed. Kasi, nagbabago pala yan. It could go as high as 700. Kasi there was a point in time na nagkaroon sila ng 700 representatives. And ganito yun. Kasi 2 beses pala sila bumoboto. Yung first vote, magboboto muna sila ng representatives doon sa local districts nila. Right? Halimbawa, ang state of Bicol, naging state of Bicol na tayo, ano? Tapos yung local district namin sa Sorsogon, di local district na kami ngayon. Magboboto kami ng, let's say, 4 na congressman. So, ibobote muna namin doon yung 4 na representatives namin. Okay? Ngayon, pag tinotal lahat nung what do you call it, political party, let's say yung 4 na yun is galing sa PDP laban. Right? So, bibilangin lahat sa national level or sa federal level kung ilan yon. Let's say 150 yung directly elected. Right? 150. Ngayon, merong second vote. Ang second vote, magbo-vote naman sa political party. Okay? Halimbawa, yung boboto nila, PDP, Liberal Party, CMD, KBP, kung ano-ano. Ngayon, ang rule, kailangan makakakuha ka ng at least 5% para makasali ka doon sa what do you call this? Representation. Or, tama ba sinabi ko? Parang gano'n. So anyway, ang result ng second vote na yun, let's say, na yung PDP laban, kasi meron na silang 150 seats, right? Ang result ng second election, let's say nakakuha ang PDP laban ng 30%. Right? So, 30%, kukunin ngayon ng aggregate. Aggregation na naman tayo. Yung 30% ng 598 seats is 179. Diba? So, 598 times 30% is 179. Meron na ngayong na-elect na 150. So, ibig sabihin, kulang pa ang PDP laban ng 29 seats to complete the 30%. Okay? Ngayon, magpapadala or mamimili ang PDP laban ng representatives nila from within their party at ipapadala sa parliament para makomplete yung 30%. Ganon pala yun. Ngayon, let's say, ito naman second scenario. Let's say na ang 150 pa rin yung direct elections, right? Ng PDP. Ang second vote, hindi sila nakakuha ng 30%. Let's say, ang nakuha lang nila 20%. So, 598 times 20% is 119. Ngayon, so dapat 119 lang sila. 150 sila. Di sobra ng 31. Akala ko tatanggalin yung 31. Hindi pala. Hindi tatanggalin yung 31. Hahayaan yung 31 doon. Ang gagawin nila, i-adjust yung representation ng ibang party para tumugma doon sa tawag nito, tama ba Tagalog ko? Tulungan nga niyo ako Tagalog. para tawag nito, hindi na i-adjust yung ibang party para kunyari meron din silang dagdag na equivalent kagaya nung sa PDP. Yun ang reason kung bakit even though Bundestag has 598 seats, pero nagkakaroon ng ng possibility na tumaas yun. Ganon ang German elections. Ngayon, ituloy ko, konti na lang. Napaka-imposible pala sa German parliament magkaroon ng majority winning party. Kaya, ang nangyayari, nagkakaroon sila ng, kasi doon sa system na yan, sa system ng election na yan, napakahirap daw kumuha ng majority. Mas lalong mahihirapan tayo sa Pilipinas. Di ba? Kaya, ang nangyayari, nagkakaroon sila ng coalition government. Yung majority na nanalo, makikipag-coalesce sa ibang party in order to form a government.
Is that good or bad sa Pilipinas?
So, ang question ngayon, kung kumusta naman ang mga Filipino in terms of coalition government. I think yan ang question dyan.
Oo nga.
Right?
Medyo magulo nga, no?
Yeah. So, ayun. Next time, babasahin ko yung French election kasi that's another thing.
Ano din sila? Federalist din sila, di ba?
Oo. Tapos parang semi-presidential something. Yung ganon. So,
well, actually, sa law, karamihan ng mga batas natin sa civil law ay pattern sa German na law. Kaya sinasabi sa amin ng mga professor namin, if we can read the discussions on these sikat na mga legal writers in the original German, ay mas makatulong sa inyong pumasa dito sa subject na to.
Narinig ko actually yan, di ba, sino ba ito? Si Coco Pimentel. During the hearing, kinikwento nga niya na sabi niya, yung party list system dito sa Pilipinas was actually copied from the German system.
Yes.
Ang kaso, inimbento daw nila. Yung implementation, iba.
Hindi sila marunong bumasa ng original German. Ganon ang dahilan.
Di ba? Yeah.
Sige lang, tuloy lang kayo kasi yung camera ko inaayos ko, bakit hindi ako nakikita.
Okay. So what about you, Hedda? What's
Yeah,
your
I'm not
side?
sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Si Rains.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, so ano nang pag-uusapan natin?
Sandali. Hindi ko kasi nababasa yung mga
Comments?
I-share ko muna ito sa wall ko. Sandali lang. Mag-blah-blah ka muna dyan.
Mag-thank you ako kay Floor kasi sabi niya, okay, nag-follow daw siya sa Twitter. I am on Twitter, okay, para mang-okray ng okay, ng mga tao doon tsaka makipagbardagulan sometimes, okay? Pag nabubore na ako sa Facebook.
Nakita ko nga yung hirit mo kay kay Andy Bautista eh.
Natutuwa ako kay Andy kasi ni-share ko nga kay Mahal na Reyna kasi 'di ba yung parang off, okay? He is not
diba?
Philippines, okay? Tapos ang lahat ng post niya is about Philippines.
Yes.
Diba? At saka na parang ang akala mo is andyan lang siya sa QC.
Sa may Caloocan.
Oo. Nag-post siya something about na, ano ba yung pinost niya na about the government na sinagot ko na, sabi ko, if you are, pag yung leader ka ng isang institution tapos you thwart people's choices, that's the end of democracy, something like that.
Yes, tama nga yun.
Sumagot pa siya.
Twitter.
Yeah. So, okay. Ano pa mga
sabi ni AJ, si Andy daw pugante.
Pusakal.
Oo. Yun. Grabe ang Twitter ha. Toxic. Kasi nakailang close na ako ng account sa Twitter. Kasi before parang hindi ko makaya yung kanilang toxicity doon. Okay. Ngayon, okay, parang siguro kumapal na akong konti.
Yeah. So ito sabi niya, democracy dies in disinformation. Tell me about it. Sabi ko,
Hindi na,
democracy dies when those in charge of institutions thwart people's choices. Di ba?
Tama, tama.
Parang kagaya ng sinabi ng friend niya in New York who said that it doesn't have to be true. It just needs to look like it.
Sakto, sakto.
Mm.
Yes.
So,
Ay, ito.
hello,
Ayun.
hello sa mga nanonood ng yung bago lang pumasok, okay? ng comments, okay? So, attorney,
Yes,
ano
go
ang
ahead lang.
question
Go ahead
for
lang.
the day?
Kahit ano lang.
State
Sige.
of Bicol. Sabi ni Apple, Macy Marie's State of Bicol daw is nice. Of course. I
It's
mean,
nice.
I would like to hear that, State of Bicol. Sabi naman ni Jomar Manalak, parang ganun yata sa Canada 2021 election. Kinulang sina Justin to form a majority, nakipag-coalition. Oo, ganun nga sa Canada. Matindi rin yung coalition dyan kasi hindi sila makakakuha ng majority. So anyway, magla-live na rin huli ako sa Edwin Jamora.
Yan, para manonood ako doon.
And
Yes.
I will start talking about finance and economics plus federalism. So yun lang tatlo.
Yung mga meaning of life, saan natin yun pag-uusapan?
Dito, kasi magaling ka dyan sa mga philosophy. Wala kami philosophy. Ang philosophy namin, marites.
Sabi namin ni Edwin, actually, okay, Ahmed, nagbasa kaming
Oo.
konti kagabi. Paano bang i-pronounce Kierkegaard?
Kierkegaard.
Okay, yung
Silent T.
tawa kami ng tawa ni Edwin kasi sabi ni Edwin, putya, ang binabasa ni Ahmed, okay, madugo, yung parang nagbasa kaming konti, tapos sabi ko, isang paragraph pa lang yung nabasa ko. Kasi
Sabi ko, wala ko naintindihan.
mga lutang kasi yung mga existentialist eh.
Sabi ko, hayop. Sabi ko, dudugo pala. Sabi ko, wala pa naman akong philosophy.
Meron ako pero 101 lang, kaya tapos sabi ko kay mahal na Reyna, posta Ray pa ako. Sabi ko, flat 1 ako sa philosophy, pero nung nagbasa na ako, wala akong maintindihan.
Hindi naman yun siya mahirap intindihin. Meron lang siyang mga words na ginagamit na ang mga meaning noon alam naman din actually natin kung ginamit lang sana yung tamang word. Pero itong mga philosophers kasi, gumagamit ng mga sarili nilang word na iba yung meaning para sa atin for their purposes na
Right.
halimbawa ay yung mga si John Paul Sartre, isang philosopher na existentialist, sabi niya, existence precedes essence. So parang what the hell does that mean? Ang ibig lang pala sabihin nun, ang buhay mo ay ikaw ang magde-determine kung ano ang kahihinatnan niyan. So you exist first and then you put meaning in your own life. Hindi kagaya ng mga ibang philosophers na there is a preconceived o parang naisulat na ang buhay ng tao para siyang sa Kristiyano na naisulat na, naitadhana na yung buhay mo ng Diyos at wala ka nang magagawa dyan, susundin mo na lang yung tadhana na yan. Para dito sa mga existentialist, no. You exist first and there is no preconceived meaning of life before you put your own meaning into it. So
hindi ka naniniwala on something where he was, like for example, a certain person was born for something.
Naniniwala ako dyan kasi it's not inconsistent with existence precedes essence or you are who you make yourself to be. Kasi ang sinasabi lang nitong mga existentialist is huwag kang sumunod sa kahit sino na lang, like how an institution defines human beings to be. Like for example, si Simone de Beauvoir, siya ang isa sa mga founders ng feminism at existentialist siya. Ang sabi niya na women should not should not allow themselves to be ruled by how men determine them in society. So parang tipong hindi, women should determine themselves on what they are and how they will do in society. Hindi yung dinidikta lang sa kanila kung ano sila dapat. Housewife, hindi nagtatrabaho, sa bahay lang. Sa kanya hindi, no. We will determine our lives also just like the men do. Parang ganyan.
Mm.
Pero
Sabi
yung kismet na sinasabi mo that this guy was born for something ay ano yan eh. Para siyang malalaman mo yan kapag ka nagawa na niya yung something great that you thought he was born to do. So kung halimbawa si Einstein, nalaman na pag nakita mo yung kanyang achievements sa physics, and then you look back in his life and you realize that nung bata pa lang pala to, nag-iisip na to ng kung ano-ano eh. So you can come up with a statement na maybe he was born for this. So parang tipong backtracking, looking at the life of a person, you will see that he was in fact born for this kind of thing. Diba? Because at the very young age, ginagawa na niya. Parang ganyan.
Merong predestination, parang ganon. Predestined siya.
Yes. Pero ang predestination kasi sa mga philosophers ay somebody else writes it for you. Yan yung nagre-rebelde ang mga existentialist dyan kasi sabi nila, no, nobody is there to write my life for me. That is why most of them do not believe in God. But Soren Kierkegaard, who is supposed to be the founder of existentialism, is a bishop and theologian. So it does not apply, it does not fit the category of existentialism.
Sandali, basahin natin yung comment ni Juan Opinion. Sabi niya, philosophical thoughts depende sa nagbabasa nito at kung ano ang pagkakaintindi mo rito. I see now that circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Yes, yan yung sinasabi ng existentialist. Mostly they do not subscribe to the idea that somebody writes their lives for them. And they consider birth as an accident. By accident they mean hindi mo kasi pinili yan eh. Pasalamat ka. It's important that you were born, but that is insofar as your meaning is concerned, walang kinalaman yan sa meaning mo. Parang ganyan.
So maraming ang schools of thoughts, di ba, on life, on how it is going to be looked at in terms of meaning. So isa lang itong existentialism.
Isa lang yan siya.
Okay. Ikaw, Ray, okay, how do you feel? Ikaw ba predestined ang life mo? You were meant to be a Reyna before you were even born.
Ano lang yan, social media lang yan. That's not existentialism, that's fantasy. Ano kasi yung tawag nito, nung umuwi ako ng Pilipinas, I was just here para magbakasyon, mag-inarte, kung ano-ano, right? So that was the plan. Kasi nga sabi ng doktor, ayusin mo nga dun ang mga health numbers mo. And then pagdating ko rito, unang-unang bumulaga sa akin yung problema dito sa condo, right? And then suddenly, I became a president.
President of your homeowners association.
The homeowners association. And then I guided them through on how to do this, how to do that, how to like everything. Up to a point where eto na nga kami. Tad na kami ng mga legal suits and everything. So I basically guided them on what to do on certain things, not necessarily the whole bit. Like for example, pumunta kami ng HSLR, pumunta kami ng SEC, inayos namin sa RTC, mga ganun ba? Right? So now I found myself in the middle of all of this legal battles and everything. And I wasn't even planning to be like this. So, nevertheless, eto na yung sinasabi na, ano ba ito? Ito ba yung calling ko? Sabi ko.
Well, yeah.
So,
So how do you feel about it? Yun ang tanong. How do you feel about it where you find yourself to be? How is it for you?
Um, it's challenging in a way na hindi naman ako prepared, but I happen to have some network of friends who could help me. So it's like, okay, siguro, uh, what is it in me that people are seeing that I could probably assist or help them? So, okay lang kasi it's a bit challenging in a way na hindi ko alam na nakakatulong din pala ako. So,
Yes.
am I bored to be this? I have no idea. Sometimes, you know, some strange energies put you in that place, and
Mm.
then it's just really up to you to do the best that you can.
Yes.
Mm.
That's right. But yun nga ang problema kasi itong mga existentialist, if you read them first, prima facie, yung unang tingin, parang akala mo, itong mga to hindi naniniwala sa Diyos at galit na galit sa Diyos, kagaya ni Friedrich Nietzsche, na sinabi niya is God is dead. So nung nagkasakit siya at namatay, sabi din ng God na Nietzsche is dead. Kasi nagbatayan silang dalawa ni Nietzsche. Anyway, ang ano kasi, ang mga existentialist, they are perceived to be anti-religion, anti-God kasi ayaw nga nila nung parang predestined o determined na buhay. Pero if you really think about it, it's not like that at all kasi maaring ang Diyos ang nag-create sa kanila, sa kanya, sa atin. But when God gave you the agency of your mind and your freedom,
Free
He
will.
also gave you the expectation that you will make use of it completely and you will not waste it so that you are expected to really make a life for yourself. Di ba? So, ganun ang sinasabi ng existentialist.
I was reminded of this statement by I think it was Gabriela
Mm,
or
mm,
parang women's group ng mga left wing or
mm,
kabataan or something.
mm,
Sabi nila doon, nabasa ko na uh, what do you call this? Yung their parents
do not own their
na
children.
right. They're just a
Yeah.
vehicle.
Yes. Vessel daw, vessel.
Oo, they were just a vehicle. Kaya sila andito sa mundo and they don't own them. Mm.
Communist yan, communist socialist na paniniwala yung ganyan.
Naloka ako doon.
Oo.
At di ba, Gabriela was one of those na during the height of the Duterte admin, sila yung talagang parang going against kay Duterte kasi sinasabi nilang misogynist si Duterte. Diba? Sila
Yes.
yon.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
ang funny, ang ironic about that was that si Monique Wilson, who is actually a very active Gabriela member, nag-post na ang sabi ni Monique is that na si Duterte actually, ang Davao, is one of those na pinakauna in terms of the LGUs, in terms of protecting its women. Na
Yep.
marami silang project that protect women and safeguard the rights of women in the whole country. Mas nauna sila under the Duterte administration. But yun nga ang nakaka-dismaya kasi pag yung hindi tinitingnan o hindi tinitake on ang lahat ng lahat ng aspects ng ano, di ba?
Ng kwento.
Oh.
Yes. Alangan namang hindi siya maging feminist dito si Digong yung nanay niya, diktador 'yon. Oo, si Nanay Saling pagka babastos-bastos ka babapatukan ka nun. Oo. Kaya ganyan siya, mabait yan sa mga babae. Digong.
Mm-mm.
I
So
will actually
yung
how to
so
change
yung theory of ano ba tawag niya? Theory ba yan? Existence.
Theory,
Sorry.
it's a theory.
So so far ang theory of existentialism pala is that you were born, wala kang destination or something. You will have after pag nabuhay ka na, and then you create your destination.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Which is why there is a question central to the existentialist tradition on the meaning of life and
So what is life?
freedom. Meaning of life. At saka yung mga issues ng freedom, love, ano pa ba? Yung freedom talaga ang pinakapasok dahil kung may assumption na if there is no meaning in life before you make one, then you must be assumed to be free. And those things will lead to so much anguish na pag iniisip mo yan dahil halimbawa pag nagmahal ka, are you really free in what you do? Kasi pagka nagmahal ka, parang nagiging submissive ka sa partner mo to please your partner and all that. But is there still freedom in there? And so there are many questions and trial answers ng mga ito, trying to answer all these questions kasi it's part of how they make meaning out of their own lives. Mga corny nga itong mga to
So
parang,
pag sinabing tawag nito in terms of mga love and all of that, so bakit ba tayo napunta dito? Na parang sinasabi na there is always one out there for you.
Yes.
Right?
Determination.
Di ba, kapag break ka, di ba, ang sama-sama ng break up and everything, and you will always hear your friends telling you, oh, wag kang iiyak kasi you know what? Every single one of us, meron tayo dyan na isa just waiting for you. Pero sabi naman ng existentialism, hindi you will have, sabi sa existentialism, hindi ko siya ma-pronounce. Pagkatapos mong mabuhay, you will have to decide your destination. Which means, kung merong tao dyan para sa'yo, pero yung destination mo na kini-create mo, hindi para doon sa taong yon. Paano yan?
Yes. Yun nga. So therefore, it all leads to it all leads kasi kung ang lahat ng tao i-assume mo to be existentialist din. So hindi lang ikaw ang existentialist, but every person in the world is existentialist. There will always be a clash because everyone is free. Everyone wants to make a meaning out of his or her own life. So how do we have relationships? Diba? Or when we are in a relationship, are we fooling ourselves? And are we not being true to ourselves? Are we not being authentic? Yun yung tawag nila dyan, authenticity. And there's so much heartache about that kasi yung freedom is not very, very consistent with relationships. Hindi masyadong consistent.
Ay, pero 'di ba si Sart at saka yung kanyang partner, 'di ba
Si
sila
Simone.
yung Yes, okay. So silang dalawa are the talagang main proponents ng existentialism. Pero ang kanilang relationship was open.
Yes.
Eto nga, and that was controversial at that time, and I think Simone is taken as one of the main proponents of itong hindi pa nag-exist before ang women empowerment. Siya na yung parang kasi open yung kanilang relationship, so they were kind of partners, okay, and they fed on each other's work. Pero they had an open relationship that they had relationships with other people.
Yes.
So
imagine that.
Yes, okay, at that time, okay, how many years ago was that? So, and okay, si Simone, on her, I think, okay, she looks at her greatest achievement as parang her relationship with Sart, tama ba?
Yes, that is one of them because yun nga, it's very hard to have a relationship when you are existentialist. How hard would it be if your relationship, the other person is also existentialist? Kayong dalawa existentialist. How do you put up with a relationship like that? And doing that is really a very hard thing to do. And if you are able to do it, astig ka.
Yes, pero meron ding mga sulat that she was actually gripped by jealousy. Although although na she was allowing it, okay, siya pa nga, yung parang ang mga relationships ni Sart, parang they were looking at the women as their family.
Yes.
They were looking at the women as their family, at saka she was part of the whole thing where she was allowing it, and she was actually having some kind of relationship also together. Diba? There was one student yata that they were kind of a threesome.
Yes. Ang weird nga ng mga taong ito dahil para it redefines what is moral and what is immoral, and it defines in fact the applicability or the justification of morality on people. Parang who makes morality? Is it God's or do we make it ourselves? Yun din ang question doon.
We create our own parameters depende sa centuries.
Yan.
Right?
So issues
Depende
na
sa
yan ng
centuries.
existentialism. Issues yan ng existentialism.
Let's read one comment. Here's one comment from Naomi Parcon to Hino. Sabi niya, you don't decide on your destination. It was the Lord's plan for your life. So how do you reconcile those two statements?
There is no way to reconcile that, except that yes, maybe the Lord planned your life, but when you are already alive, the Lord really can't stop you from doing what you want with your life. That's freedom. Freedom.
Meron akong nabasa nga about faith. Okay, kasi nga magkakahalo-halo na spirituality, religion, what is faith. Okay, meron akong nabasa something to do with existentialism. Na faith is seen as somebody's lived experience. So hindi parang your faith is your own personal lived experience, and no one can dictate how you're going to go about your practicing or believing in something, parang ganon. So
yes.
Parang naalala ko yung isang Twitter ni Father Nongnong. Okay, kasi apart from Andy Bautista, mascot ko rin kasi si Father Nongnong sa Twitter. Kasi marami din siyang mga quote cards, okay? At saka, pero meron din akong sinagot nga doon sa isang niyang sinabi. Kasi he was saying na, the way that he was saying it is that parang pinapatungan niya ng judgments ang mga tao. That parang sinasabi nga niya na the devil, okay, na-mention ka doon, attorney, the devil, sabi niya.
Yes.
The devil is working hard, sabi niya, but, okay, there's another camp, okay, that's working harder, parang ganon. So, ang nasa isip ko nga is that, okay, how can this person, yes, of course, okay, he is a priest, he has done his due studies in terms of theology and spirituality. But how can this person kind of say things na ganyan? Parang it lends itself to a question na magkaibigan ba kayo ni Taning? At alam mo na he's working very hard, di ba? At tanungin mo nga si attorney kung BFF. Yes. Okay.
Si Satanas kasi, if you really think about it, is a ridiculous concept. Why? Because it follows the dichotomy road to perdition na everything has a negative, and kung may Diyos ng kabutihan may Diyos din ng kasamaan. Imagine mo kung si Satanas ay the opposite of everything that God will do, then wala siyang followers because he is not supposed to like anyone. He is supposed to hate everyone. Wala siyang followers, wala siyang pamilya, walang mga followers niya, mga Satanists, ay walang anak, walang asawa, dahil they're supposed to hate each other and kill each other. So it's a ridiculous concept that can only be understood in a system, in a worldview na dualist kagaya ng Christianity. And I am not saying that Satan in a dualist thought system is ridiculous, because Satan may get so much meaning in his existence only in that dualist worldview. Kasi outside of that, Satan is really a ridiculous concept. He cannot exist.
Ang paradox nga, di ba, doon na lang sa, if people have watched, okay, the Gospel of Judas, okay, ang question nga doon is this, okay, itong predetermination and God's will. So, ang sinasabi nga doon is that, why do people blame Judas? Kasi if people believe, okay, in God and okay, wag niyo akong ipato ng hearsay, okay? Sinasabi ko lang yung
Kwentuhan lang. Oh.
kwentuhan lang tayo. It's just okay to
Ang maganda dito sa philosophy is that you do not need to cite anyone. You do not need to fact check anything kasi this is a speculation. Philosophy is speculation.
Theories nga, di ba? Okay, so
Yeah.
but it goes well with yung ating talk kasi nga ang Pilipino is needing modern day thinkers na that will allow for thinking at hindi yung pino-force o kinu-force ang tao to believe in what they are saying or believing. So anyway, yung sa the Gospel of Judas, ang contention doon is that na so if believers believe, okay, that God, okay, has determined things, okay, predetermined things, bakit i-blame si Judas because he was only doing what God intended him to do, which is to be Jesus. Dahil kung walang betrayal, walang crucifixion, walang savior, hindi na save ang buong sanlibutan.
Sandali. Along that line, what you said, sabi nga ni Jenny Aquino, if God planned your life, then no matter what decision you make, is it pre-planned or predestined?
That's right. Yung predestination kasi, yung determinism ang tawag niyan sa philosophy.
Ano yun? Determinism?
Determinism. Determinism ang tawag dyan. Sa determinism kasi, isa sa mga problema sa philosophy ng determinism is that if you are not free, then you cannot sin. Because you did not choose, you cannot sin. Hindi ka pwedeng gumawa ng kasalanan. Kasi hindi ka free na mamili, 'di ba? If you do something bad, it was predetermined by God for you to do, like Judas, like you said. So there is now a really big paradox dito sa paniniwala sa Kristyanismo and other moral religions. Pero meron pa ring solusyon diyan. Even si Kierkegaard na existentialist is also a theologian. He studied and he is a bishop. So he is able to do that, and yun ang magaling kasi in all his existentialist views, he is struggling to still believe in a God that is forgiving, that is powerful and helpful of people that he created. And there is hope para sa tao. So ito yun silang mga madadrama na mga philosophers. Ito sila yung mga senti na mga philo.
May hugot.
Oo, yan sila lagi.
Ito si Kierkegaard, di ba yung parang he was writing using pseudonyms. May mga pen names siya. Sinusulat niya. Yes, okay. At tapos, okay, ang ginagawa niya is that okay, he would, parang meron isang idea under a certain pen name. Tapos meron din siya ilalabas na another idea which is okay, parang contradictory dun sa
Aaway.
yes, okay, which in another pen name. At saka he is leaving readers to determine or to find meaning in themselves. Yung parang ayaw niya o hindi. So he is actually allowing people to parang
decide.
Yes, and to interact at saka yung parang he allows people to negotiate meaning. Hindi niya binibigyan ng meaning ng tao kung how to.
Yes. Yan yung sinasabi ng existentialism na existence precedes essence. There is no predetermined meaning for anything, for a statement, for a word, for anything. You are there to discover it on your own. And if you have to apply it on another person, then you will have to require his opinion on the matter also. Diba? Hindi maganda.
Lalali.
So yan. Medyo nakakatahimik nga ito dahil kami pag nag-uusap kami ng ganito, nagiinom kami ng beer eh. So hindi nagtatagal ang usapan na ganito dahil pag nalasing na, balik na sa sex, balik na sa kung sinong may malaking boobs, mga ganyan, no? Kung ano-ano na ang pinag-uusapan. But it's always nice to return to talking about the existentialists because they are the foundations of democracy. One of them, the Enlightenment, that the turn of the century Enlightenment that led to science. Sila rin yung feminism, sila rin yung socialism na yung suporta sa bawat isa sa miyembro sa society at hindi as a group. So these people, they may sound like they are the most insane people in philosophy, but they are the foundations of almost everything that modernity is observing right now.
Si Pinay Paparazzi is asking, okay, si Bishop. Kierkegaard, K-I-E-R, K-E-E.
K-I-E-R, K-E-G-A-A-R-D.
Yun.
Yan siya.
Ito nga, okay, a lot of people are quoting the Bible, okay? So, I went to a Catholic school when I was in high school. And lahat ng birthday ng santo, meron kaming mass, okay? Tapos every day we go to mass, okay? Every day we go to the chapel early in the morning, okay, as students kasi, okay, that's parang naging culture na namin yun. And tawag pa dito, yung parang every first Friday of the month or something, okay, or last Friday we would go to mass, okay? So maraming misa, we pray the Angelus, okay, pag nasa alas 6 ka, nasa school ka pa dahil meron kang ginagawang project, okay? So there's sa PA system, okay, sa public address, okay, lalabas yung prayer ng Angelus, lahat yung ganyan. That's how I lived, okay, for the last 3 years of my high school, up to a point na I thought I was going to become a nun. So ito nga, merong akong nabasa lately na si Sir Abelia has quoted something. Ang quote niya is that, okay, na why yung parang the greatest story and the greatest stories are told by Jesus Christ, and his life is actually a great story. So parang ganon. Yes, okay. So, and if you actually, di ba yung sa mga Sermon on the Mount, okay, has great stories talaga. Ang nangyayari minsan, okay, yung mga awayan na nakikita ko, especially sa Twitter, is that pag nagko-quote na ng mga Bible verses at saka yung sinusundan ng parang judgment of other people. So,
yes.
We don't, okay, kumbaga yung parang siguro we have to teach each other din yung parang how do you practice your faith na hindi mo kino-coerce, kaya nga ito we don't coerce each other if you want, okay, to share, okay, kung ano yung faith mo, yung belief mo, okay, feel free, pero at the same time huwag i-force, okay, down the throat of other people kasi doon parang ang awayan nag-i-start. And if you come to think about it, okay, ang ating political na mga awayan, di ba, could very well stem from all these, okay, religious, okay, affiliations or religious culture, okay, that we have. Can you say about that, Mahal na Reyna and attorney?
Si Mahal na Reyna muna.
Well, pretty much the same as in political discussions, right? So, eto nga yung tawag nito. May kwento ako. Meron kaming reunion. Meron kaming reunion. Siguro nakikinig yung mga relatives ko ngayon. Right? Andiyan naman si attorney. Wala
Hindi ko talaga.
Camera
Hindi talaga magkano yung camera ko.
Yeah.
Sige. Go ahead.
In any case, yung iba Lenny, right? Yung iba Marcos. So, naging politika yung yung reunion. And it's all about the discussion of the politics. So, nagkaroon ng sour relationships between some people at kasali na ako doon. So nairita ako. So hindi na ako sumali sa reunion. Kasi, ayan na. Hello, Press Secretary.
Mag-hi lang po.
Hi, attorney! Andito yung mga fans mo. Ani,
I know,
andito
right?
si attorney, oh. Mag-hi ka na.
Kailan ba kami maiimbitahan dyan sa office mo, attorney?
Aba, kailan ba? Kahit kailan. Nag-ayos
Di ba?
talaga ako. Kahit
Busy
kailan.
ka yata.
Palis kami. May UNGA si boss. So, pagkabalik.
Oh, sige. Pakisay hi kay kay Tita Aimee.
Sa Senado yon. Iba yung boss ko. Kapatid yung boss ko.
Oo nga pala.
Happy na ang lahat nakita ko sa attorney Trixie.
Batiin niyo yung boss ko bukas.
Oo, but bumati na lang.
Pakisay hi sa boss mo. Pakisabi sa boss mo kung kailan ko mamimit si Tita Aimee.
Sa Senado. Ang nakakausap ko lang yung anak. So, magandang gabi. Nakikigulo lang po ako. Nakauwi
Sige,
ko lang.
masyadong madugo yung topic namin ngayon.
Isa na namang araw na nasulit ang taxpayers kasi kauuwi ko pa lang at nag-umpisa ako magtrabaho ng 3:00 ng umaga. So,
Naku.
tutulog na po.
Pero at least ang ganda mo pa rin, di ba?
Yes.
Salamat. Magaling ang makeup artist. Magician, hindi beautician.
Diba?
Continue smiling, attorney. Huwag mong i-ano smiling face all the time. In amidst the challenges.
Maraming salamat, lalo na dito sa aming mahal na Reyna.
Yeah.
Ang aming
Thank you for
kamahalan. And then, ceremonial boyfriend. Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by. Take care.
Good luck, attorney.
Salamat.
Apo. Thank you.
Ayun.
Ayan. Sige,
Ayan.
kayo muna na. Kasi yan yung epekto ng camera. Napilitan akong... Balik ako.
Sige.
Sige, sandali. Magbasa muna tayo ng mga comments, Hedda.
Yes.
Saan ba tayo last?
Dito siguro kay Ying.
Ying?
Napapa-acting ang aming brain cells. Sinugulat.
Si Ying Polon. Okay.
Sinugulat nila
Nasaan ba siya?
sleeping brain cells. Yung 5:26 na time.
5:26, 6:26 na eh.
Ay, sorry kasi one hour earlier ako kayo 5:26.
Ay, oo. Nasa Singapore ka.
Ay, Bangkok. Ano ba?
Ay, Bangkok pala. Sorry. Bangkok, Thailand.
Okay.
Hindi ko makita. If I am not...
Hanapin mo ang 6:26 na time sa loob.
6:26. Ang sinabi ay 6:26 na timestamp.
Oo.
Ayan, at ikamusta mo kami sa mga best friend namin sa MSM? Yan ba yan? Yung napapa-acting ang aming brain cells. Ginugulat
Yes,
nila yung sleeping brain cells. Oo.
Okay. You blame Attorney Ahmed sa ganyan.
Hindi kasi kaya ako naisip ito dahil itong mga existentialists na to, they are talking about what we are not talking about. Yung mga problema natin, for example, with the mainstream media, itong kalayaan, freedom of speech and expression, yung pinaka-basic na statement of those problems ay pinag-isipang mabuti nitong mga to, itong mga existentialists, like freedom, like authenticity, like honesty, intellectual honesty, and relationships. na parang tipong pag naintindihan mo ito, maiintindihan mo yung buhay mo at may yung mga pasakit sa buhay ay kasama sa buhay natin. At pagka natuto kang to learn to take it in stride, to ride the wave as so to speak, ay ay magaling kang tao at maaring malamang mapupunta ka sa langit. So in the end, it coincides with the faiths of religion. Kasi if you just follow the existentialist way of looking at life, you will you will absolutely do good. You will absolutely make the most of yourself and your life, and you will help everyone around you. Even if you do not believe in God, you are bound to go to heaven when you die. So parang ganun yun.
Si Sart at saka si Simon, parang they pledge to each other na sinabi nila na we are going to be always honest with each other. Hindi natin gagawin yung ginagawa ng mga married couples.
Yes.
Kasi
Diba?
they never married, although si Sart, I think, asked her to marry him. But she refused. Okay. There is something itong sinasabi mo, attorney, na about ang hugot. Okay, ang Pilipino is always, okay, mahilig humugot, di ba?
Yes.
Meron akong isang kaibigan na na-meet na he was, okay, meron siyang, he put up a business. Ang sabi niya sa akin is that, Hedda, sabi niya, ang Pilipino, kasi he was in Spain before for a long time. Sabi niya, when I put up a business in Philippines, ang na-realize ko is that no matter how much salary you give, no matter how kahit ano kaganda ang mga benefits that you're giving, no matter how well you have a system sa company mo to take care of your employees. Ang sabi niya, once ang Pilipino nagkaroon ng problem sa heart, sa pag-ibig, sabi niya, all things, okay, sabi niya, okay, kumbaga, shit hits the fan. Sabi niya, whenever humugot na ang Pilipino at nagkaroon na ng problema sa pag-ibig, none of these things, okay, matter. Sabi niya, so ang ginawa niya yata is that, parang sabi niya is that I had to put up workshops or lahat ng aspect ng buhay ng employees ko, I had to put up a system to support it, including love. Okay? Dahil sabi niya, pag nagkaroon na ng problema sa heart, it does not matter how much you're paying them, it does not matter what kind of benefits you're giving them. All hell breaks loose, sabi niya.
Yes,
so,
yes.
So siguro, itong ang sinasabi mo na we have to talk about these things kasi ang mga existentialists, kung titingnan mo, part and parcel ng kanilang mga writings at saka mga teachings is relationships.
Yes.
Relationships, Reyna.
Yes, relationships. Pero yun nga halimbawa, merong movie on the life of Sartre and de Beauvoir. At sobrang senti siya. Parang nakakabwisit na ano ba tong dalawang to, mga weirdo to sila pero bakit ganyan? Titingnan mo si Jean-Paul Sartre nung matanda na, banlag yan mukhang tanga. Si Simon, ang ganda-ganda nung bata. Pero ganun sila. So, parang si Saint Peter Abelard, one of the saints of the Catholic Church, who was also a philosopher. Meron din siyang relationship with a nun. Si ano bang pangalan nun? And their relationship was also existential, but they were not existentialists. They were they were Christians. So parang pag pinanood mo yung movie nila, parang sakit na, parang nga, nagmamahalan kayo pero you have to serve God and all that stuff. Parang si Saint Francis of Assisi, meron din siyang girlfriend na hindi rin sila nagkaigi kasi nagpapaniwala din sila sa Diyos nila. And they did good with their lives. Si Saint Francis of Assisi became the founder of the Franciscan order na mabuti din. Di ba? So, ang saklap, ang masakit sa buhay ay parte ng buhay. It's part of existence. And what you make of yourself, having gone through all that life's existential realities, is what will make you go to heaven, what will make you a great person, what will make you a good brother, a good neighbor, which is, I think, what Jesus was talking about, and Allah and Muhammad is talking about, and Buddha is talking about. So, di ba? In the end, they are all just saying the same thing. Be honest to yourself and make the most out of yourself.
Para kung pumunta ng simbahan.
Alam niyo ba na nagseminaryo ako, na seminarista ako bago ako naging satanas? Totoo yan, totoo yan.
Yun.
Ako the closest I got was being a sacristan. And then nung college ako, pumunta kami ng bayan, right? Kasama ko yung mga kasama ko sa Aquinas. Sa bahay namin sarado na yung mga stores at like 7 p.m. Ako, on air pa naman ito. Ninakaw namin yung yung mga alak.
yung mompo.
Tapos yung kaibigan ko, kinuha lahat niya yung ostya.
Pulutan yan.
Kinuha namin yung pulutan. Kaya siguro puro problema ang buhay ko.
Yun nga minsan kung iisipin natin, ayaw natin tingnan yung buhay natin at saka yung mga kwento sa buhay natin, like yung pag-iibig, yung pagiging totoo, yung pagiging authentic, pagiging malaya. Kasi nakakasakit sa sarili at nakakasakit ng kapwa. When you start talking about freedom and morality, you will definitely begin a fight with a Christian or a Catholic person na hindi masyadong marunong makinig sa opinion ng ibang tao. But yun nga, siguro kailangan natin gawin yan as a foundation of how we will treat each other in society. Na the more you are in touch with yourself and the more honest you are to yourself and your feelings and all that, the better you will be to your friends and colleagues anywhere you are. I admit na I am also guilty of being prejudgmental and all that, because I am not a good existentialist. I suck.
So it is actually parang it's advisable for us to do inner work, internal reflections, okay? Kasi masyado nga tayong tribal and communal, di ba? So a lot of our yung mga rules that we live by, ang mga philosophies, okay, that we follow in life is mostly coming from the outside. Kaya ito ang struggle ng Pilipino, ito nga ang hugot, di ba? Yung parang maiyakin tayo, emotional, sentimental, ganyan. Because of the struggle all the time na ang ating internal workings o kung ano yung gusto natin, hindi natin ginagawa. So, kasi we are shackled by, ito nga sinabi natin dito, di ba? Meron ka ng tax sa gobyerno, may tax ka pa sa religion, may tax ka pa sa revolutionary tax. So, the same way, okay, you are ruled by, okay, rules ng simbahan, rules ng community mo, rules ng sarili mong tribe, the family that you belong to, ng clan, okay? Kasi yun nga, nag-i-exert din ng pressure. So, ang buhay ng Pilipino is so pressured. Ito nga yung sinasabi ng kaibigan ko. Ito nga hugot ng Pilipino. It's all about all the pressures, all the external pressures that are heaped on the Filipino individual. Na hindi lahat ng Filipino na individual is able to make choices on his or her own, whether it's about his or her love, her life, her choices, her family, ganyan, what yung jobs na at saka yung mga the courses that we take. Okay, like for instance, okay, yung mga classmates ko kasi we went to nursing school. I don't think that not even 50% of us, I think, were really wanting to become nurses. Pero dahil nga sa external pressure of where jobs were going at the time na nag-college kami, so lahat kami nurse.
Nurse ka ba, no? Nurse ka ba, Hedda?
I was actually a licensed nurse, okay, pero actually I wanted to go to journalism, okay, when I was when I graduated from high school. Eh sabi ng lolo ko, this is existentialism, okay, in its really practical sense, okay, sa
Yes.
buhay ng isang tao. Kasi I wanted to be a journalist, okay, because okay, I had the penchant for it, okay. I was a writer nung high school. But okay, ang sabi ng lolo ko is that okay, you want to be a writer, you are going to starve. Okay, sabi niya ganon. Okay, so sabi niya so I went into nursing school. So again, okay, free will, existentialism, okay. Gusto ko ba talaga yun? No. So ang pressures, okay, but I did not know that okay, I had a choice, okay? Because okay, hindi naman pinag-uusapan mo in our culture, in our society, okay, pag bata ka pa, that okay, you have choices. Pero ito naman ngayon, okay, parang extreme naman ang nangyayari ngayon sa mga kabataan. Ang sinasabi naman sa kanila is that you are the sole owner of your life, kahit na they cannot even feed themselves. At saka sasabihin sa nanay na, this is my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ito gusto ko sagutin to saglit. Ito lang ang Satanas that tells people how to go to heaven. Let me tell you about Satan. If Satan did not wish all his life to go back to heaven, he won't be Satan. Satan, his punishment is that he cannot see the brilliance of God and he cannot feel the love of God. And he cries all day long and all night long about this. That is why in the novel of Dante Alighieri sa Inferno, sinasabi doon that Satan is frozen, stuck in a frozen lake of his own tears because he wants to go back to heaven but he cannot. So, si Satanas, ang hangarin sa buhay niyan ay makabalik sa piling ng Diyos niya. So, existential yung buhay ni Satan.
Masakit yun,
Masakit
Meron
yan.
po.
Masakit. Masakit.
So
Diba,
ang
daming
buhay
kwento.
ko pala is existential din.
Existential talaga ang buhay. Oh, existential. If you are not aware of its existentialism, then you might miss all the meanings that you would have learned in all your experiences, even in the bad ones, even in the death of a loved one. Pag hindi mo masyadong na-reconcile yan, then it will just punish you until you die without seeing the good side of loss, for example, of the death in a family. Kasi lahat daw yan ng mga yan may i-contribute sa meaning ng mga buhay natin. I don't know how that works, but somehow totoo din naman nung namatay ang nanay ko. Halimbawa, marami akong natutunan na matay na nga siya, pero ang dami ko naman ding natutunan at ganito ako ngayon dahil sa kanya. So that's a happy thought. And she is not going to be forgotten even if she already died. Parang ganyan.
Ako kasi, nung habang nagkukwentuhan kayo, it occurred to me, nung nag-graduate ako ng high school, mahirap lang kami nun eh. So, ang choice ko, either magtrabaho, right? Kasi nagtatahi ako na sa what do you call this? Nagtatahi ako ng pantalon. Kasi akala ko hindi na ako makakapag-aral.
Yes.
So, hinanap ako ng teacher ko and pinag-take ako ng mga kung ano-anong exams. And yung isang exam doon, yung isang scholarship. So, pumasa ako dun sa scholarship na yon.
Mm.
Tapos, sila namili ng course. Ang binigay
Sila.
sa akin, accounting. In my mind, sabi ko, ano kaya yun? Right? Sabi ko, ano kaya yung accounting na yun? So, pumasok na ako sa school, right? Yung unang semester, Diyos ko, nakakatakot ang mga grades ko. Muntik na akong mawala ng scholarship. Nakita yun ng father ko. Sabi ng father ko, dalawang choices mo. Either to continue going to school, kahit na hindi mo kursunada, or bumalik ka sa trabaho mo. Right?
Yes.
Wala namang kasiguruhan yung trabaho. So I was faced with anong gagawin ko sa accounting? Sabi ko, ano ito? So, nako, parang ano yun, parang crossroads, second semester. I had no choice but to face the reality na, you know what? I do not know you, but I know I have to learn how to love you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yan. So itong mga ganitong usapan kasi mahirap to simulan eh. At mahirap to i-sustain kasi may takot tayo na ma-judge tayo sa sinasabi natin about ourselves. Yung vulnerability na nilalabas. But did you know that the existentialists are most of them are the basis for most of our psychology now. Yung individuation, yung authenticity is the basis for Carl Jung. Carl Jung is a modern psychologist. and yung kaya psychoanalysis ni Sigmund Freud was also based on existentialism because ang assumption nga na existentialism is your existence is what you got. You can daydream all you like all day, but all that you have is what your life is there for you. So parang tipong pantasya ka maging reyna ka, ganito ganyan, o magkaroon ng magandang buhay, mayaman na asawa, but your life is the reality, and dealing with that is existentialism.
So parang talagang in life is what you make it, di ba?
Yes, but it's not as easy as it sounds, di ba? Kasi life is what we make it. Sometimes mas gusto na lang natin give up the decision making to someone else for us because it hurts, because we are afraid to be judged for if we are wrong about it. But if you look at the great humans of history, they were the people who really didn't care about what other people would think of them when they set out to do stuff that made them great later on.
What I like about si Mahal na Reyna, kasi especially when I was reading about, diba, when you were talking about all the challenges that you had, okay, when you went to the States, ang nakikita ko kasi kay Reigns is that ito nga, existentialism is about also responding, hindi yung reacting, responding to the challenges, okay, that happen to your life. Kasi Mahal na Reyna could have made different decisions about the challenges that, diba, that Reyna faced, okay, pero ang ginawa niya is that she, diba, took on the challenge, faced the challenge, okay, kumbaga yung parang ang iniisip mo ba paano ko ba gagawin to, diba, yung parang ganyan ang approach mo, paano ko ba gagawin to, it's about yung parang, do I go up, do I go
down?
Side? Yeah. Do I go down? Do I go through this? Okay, that's how you approach life.
Yeah.
And this is where you end up because of the choices that you made. Okay.
Yeah. May kwento ako sa inyo, and I thought this is fun kasi Nasa US na ako, right? And during that time, I was going to a French school. So, naka 2 years na ako sa French school. Umabot ako ng conversational French. Although hindi na ako marunong ngayon magsalita ng French kasi halos wala na akong makausap, di ba? Tapos ang sagwa-sagwa pa ng accent ko. Kaya pinagtatawan ako ng kaibigan kong Belgian kasi sabi niya, murder ko daw yung French accent. In any case, so I was working in Princeton, New Jersey at that time sa isang broadcast investment firm. Ngayon, mag-aano ako, tawag nito, immersion classes. 2 weeks immersion classes ng French. Ang sabi ko sa boss ko, bahala kang pumunta ng south of France. Kasi may kunento sa akin yung office mate ko. Nag-immersion siya sa Italy. Pero doon sa lugar na nobody knows how to speak English. So, ganoon din ang gagawin ko. Pupunta ako ng south of France.
Yes.
May pupuntahan akong lugar and nobody speaks English. Sabi ng boss ko, I'll pay for your trip. Na-shock ako. Sabi ko, do you have any idea kung magkano gagastoin ko pagpunta ko, tapos you will pay for my trip? Tapos sabi ko sa kanya, what are you gonna do with my French pagbalik ko rito? Kasi nasa broadcast investment firm ako eh. Sabi ko, alam nga na mag-Francis tayo dito eh, puro tayo Amerikano. Wala naman nagsasalita ng French doon. I was only trying to learn French kasi nga, pumupunta kami ng Montreal. Mga kaibigan ko. And they speak French there. Tapos, the little that I know, pag nag-order lang kami ng French fries sa McDonald's. Yun lang naman. Yun yung mga kaartihan ko, right? So, it came to my mind. Sabi ko, teka lang. Sabi ko kaya ang boss ko. Sabi ko sa kanya, ano kaya pag-aralin mo na lang ako ng MBA? Para pagkatapos ko ng MBA, pwede mo akong gamitin.
Yes.
Guess what? Tinake niya yun.
Pinag-aral ka rin.
Pinag-aral niya ako, and that was the whole reason why I was able to get to Temple University. And he paid for everything. He paid for my trip to Europe. He paid for my Prague, my Budapest, the whole thing. Naloka ako. Sabi ko, ganun pala ako kaganda. Pero you know what? I took the risk. I was only making a joke. Kaya ako minsan pinagmamayabang ko na, you know what? My parents did not send me to school.
That's right.
It's the attitude nga, di ba? It's the attitude, how you take on life and how you approach life, how you kasi like some people will not even attempt na sabihin sa nilang boss, okay, na ganito lang gawin mo. Yung parang passive lang. Some people will be...
It's the fear of being rejected.
Yes.
So how are you gonna act on rejection? Right?
Existential yan na issue. Isolation, rejection, yun, mabasted ka. But we have to get over these things because otherwise, you will not continue living there is also the issue of suicide. Si Albert Camus, C-A-M-U-S, Albert Camus, yun yung pangalan niya, is a French guy. Ano yan siya? Yung kanyang assertion is that the greatest expression of freedom is to commit suicide.
What?
Diba? And if you really think about it, this guy is insane. But he makes a lot of sense. Diba?
If you come to think about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Ito nga, I'm just, ano ba, yung parang, di ba okay, for those of you na Linkin Park.
Linkin Park.
Yeah. Okay, so
yung banda.
Yung banda yan,
The vocalist.
Oh, vocalist.
Was so the band is at the height of its the peak, okay, of their success, and okay, they are actually rehearsing, okay, for their tour. When he passed away, okay, he took his life. He has, okay, you would think na, why would somebody who is very successful, has a family, I think he left behind a wife and 2 kids. Why would he choose, diba, to do that? Okay, so Kurt Cobain, Ano bang sinabi ni Kurt Cobain? I would rather die than fade away.
Yes.
Si
Si
itong
Chris Cornell.
si Linkin Park, ang I think his reason is because his friend actually took his own life few months before that.
Oh.
And then yung kanya, I think it's something about that the world has become so parang marami siyang sadness about what's going on in the world. Okay, parang ano ng kanya. Di ba, he has ang mga songs niya, we don't realize that some of the songs are actually parang a cry for help. His di ba? He has a song about yung I forgot the title. Yung parang if he fades, okay, he's just one light. If he fades, okay, would it matter? Parang ganun.
Yes.
Existentialism. And then si Lauryn Hill, okay, I was talking to attorney Ahmed about si Lauryn Hill was at the peak of her career.
Singer din
The
yan.
Emancipation of Lauryn Hill. Go ahead.
No, peak din siya ng kanyang career when she decided to go solo. And ang reason niya is that and sabi niya ito in a documentary. So later, hindi na siya as successful in the sense na she doesn't have records, na di ba, at the top of the charts, wala siyang mga concerts anymore. Wala na siyang masyadong maraming mga albums. Pero ang sinabi niya, it's because, sabi niya, I have decided and I have realized, nung time that I decided to go solo, is that, sabi niya, yung being successful and then you cannot go anywhere, you're holed up in your house, because you cannot be out because you're such a celebrity. Sabi niya, that is not life. Sabi niya,
Yes.
so now, I'm married, I have children, I'm hindi pa pala siya married, yung parang I'm going to be a wife to be and I am a mother, sabi niya, and I can just get out of my house and then walk in the rain and no one's going to recognize me or I'm not gonna have, yung parang walang paparazzi or something. Sabi niya, this is life. Sabi niya, so it's choices, diba, mahal na Reyna?
Yeah, that was my question. What is life?
What is life?
Yeah, and I guess I'm enjoying my life right now.
Yes.
Yun nga yung leksyon na tipong you only have your own life. You don't have any others. Mainggit ka sa iba, tumingin ka sa iba, at the end of the day, you will be confronted with your own life. And it's a basic theme in existentialism, yung anguish, yung angst sa buhay na nakikita natin readily sa mga rockstar na sikat na sikat sila and they don't feel happy about it. The Pearl Jam, Kurt Cobain, marami.
It's kind of the same thing naman actually talaga kahit ako nga or kami nga when I was working in California, San Francisco. Biro mo gigising ako ng mga 4 o'clock in the morning. Tapos magre-ready na ako ng 5. I have to be on the highway by 5:30. Kailangan 5 and 5:30 nasa highway na ako. And ang driving ko takes me about 2 hours one way. From like Walnut Creek all the way to San Francisco. That's 2 hours. Pagkahapon, that's another 2.5 hours because of the traffic. Tapos yung tagal doon sa bridge. Magkocross pa ako ng bridge yung Oakland Bay Bridge. So, every day yan, nagkukwentuhan kami ng mga kaibigan ko. Sabi, Diyos ko, ang buhay dito sa Amerika, ganito. And people think na para tayong nasa paraiso. This is not paraiso. This is hell. Kasi, halos 4 hours lamang ang tulog namin. And then sometimes, we have to work till like 10 p.m. Right? Kasi minsan daming trabaho. And then we have to work on weekends. So, ang galit na galit ako is working on weekends. Can you imagine there's only like 52 weeks and then you have to work on weekends? And where do you find time or where do you find that precious hours to spend with your family and friends kung pati yung weekend na yon eh inaagaw ng work mo and you don't have a choice kasi the only choice is that either you work or you find another job somewhere that will give you that extra hours on the weekend to spend time with your family. So ang hirap ng buhay sa Amerika while people are thinking na, Diyos ko, ganda-ganda ng buhay nila doon. And then suddenly, I found myself na pinauwi ako ng doktor ko. And then sabi ko sa buhay ko, sabi ko sa friend ko, I think this is life. Because now, hindi na ako gigising alas 4, gigising ako alas 2 ng hapon. And I could go anywhere I want. Kaya nga sabi ko, bumalik ako ng Pilipinas, hindi na ako bumalik ng trabaho. Because sabi ko, I need to find my life. I don't know where it is.
Diba? Lahat naman ng struggle ng bawat tao, although they may not realize it, is really to find the meaning of what they are, who they are, and what eventually is their life all about. Kaya natatakot tayong mamatay. And death is also one of the central themes of existentialism. That most of them seem to be wanting to die as soon as they can, but somehow they lived so long and they became famous for what they say in existentialism. Na parang tipong, these are the people who hate their life so much and yet sumikat sila ng sumikat for saying the really brilliant things about life and how to deal with it.
I actually have, meron akong goodbye letter that I have sent to a friend, okay? Kasi, and I think it was because of the pandemic, much more than anything else, okay? Diba na parang I felt like I've always, looked at my mortality as something that, can be taken away from me anytime, any day. So, dahil I have kids, okay, and I'm a single mom, ayokong umalis na parang hindi ako handa. Kasi being a single mother and OFW ka, parang Girl Scout ka all the time eh. So you have to be prepared for everything and anything. So even that, okay, I prepared, okay, that yung parang if I leave, okay, I don't want my kids or anybody who is close to me to parang maging devastated, okay, for the loss. Kasi it's always about that people who have the most regrets, yung mga meron silang mga hindi nagawa for you, with you, those are the ones who are saddest pag may namatay, di ba? So, okay, so meron akong letter na ginawa, okay, for those that I feel need it, okay, na parang ano yung gusto mong sabihin sa kanila and to leave behind, okay, kasi yung parang it's not a loss dahil we have done what we need to do, okay, while I was alive. Okay, so parang ano, and I think, okay, it's when people do not look at mortality at saka yung parang when that our lives are not here, yung parang what's the word, it's not guaranteed, okay, kumbaga there's no guarantee about when you're going to go. When you look at that, okay, and when you accept it, I think okay, it is much easier for you to look at kung ano yung gusto mong maging meaning ng life mo. It's when you look at, diba? When you look at okay, your mortality, then okay, you can backtrack. So what do I want to make of it?
Kami nga, actually, yan ang, what do you call this? When people do not prepare for those eventualities, nagkakaroon ng mga bad relationships. And, di ba, ganyan na ganyan yung nangyayari ngayon sa isang mga problemang ginagawa ko ay inaayos ko because nung namatay yung mga people involved, hindi inayos yung mga papers. So now, we are faced with this reality na kailangan ayusin namin to the best that we could para those pieces of properties can go to whoever owns them. Ganyan ang nangyari sa amin. And I remember my boss, yung boss ko sa Princeton, New Jersey. Ano lang yun, batang-bata yun, 37 years old na namatay. And this was the guy na nagpaaral sa akin. Meron siyang cancer. Pero, and parang alam niya na yata na X number of months. Tapos, inayos niya yung yung funeral niya. Inayos niya everything including the music. Naloka ako doon. Tapos binigyan niya ako ng CD. Sabi ko, ano ito? Sabi niya, basta keep it. Hindi ko na alam kung nasaan yung CD na yun. So anyway, this guy, unbelievable. So, the whole thing, plinano niya. Pati yung funeral and everything. Nakakaloka.
That's
Diba? Kasi most of us fear death. And only because we do not know it. But the existentialists say that why worry about death when it is bound to happen to everyone anyway? So that what is more important is what you have right now, which is life. And if you go on living your life without understanding it, without being authentic, you will live the rest of your life in regret. And regret is a one thing that you don't want to carry when you are about to die in old age. Kasi that will erase everything about you. Not only death will erase everything about you, but yourself and your regrets. Na buhay ka pa, binubura mo na sarili mo kasi lahat ng bagay ay nire-regret mo. Ibig sabihin, wala kang meaning na nakita sa lahat ng experiences mo sa buhay. At buhay ka pa niyan, pinatay mo na sarili mo. And you think about it, that is what we fear about death, that we are going to be forgotten, that we are going to be deleted. But we don't realize that we contribute so much to our own deaths while we are still alive.
Basahin nga natin itong sinulat niya, ni Cherry Lou Mercado. Sabi niya, when I was a kid, I had severe asthma. At that time, I thought I wouldn't live long, so I made a list of things I will do once to live until 50. And that list has kept me satisfied with my life. I'm more than halfway to 50 and I have ticked off most in my bucket list. The goal is to feel as little regret at the end of my days. So,
iba ang gusto, iba people look at meaning in different ways. Sometimes people look at it as purpose, or yung parang being needed, or is a purpose, for some. Meron ko nakita dyan kanina na comment, na parang some people live because they are needed by others. Yung role that they have a role in life, that they feel necessary sila, or they have a value to other people, so doon sila humuhugot. So it's different for everyone, I guess, diba?
Yes. Correct.
Okay.
So kung hindi man naiintindihan ng mga tao itong ginagawa natin dito, na we have such long pauses and all that, masanay kayo kasi in fact, mabuti sa buhay yung mayroon kang long pauses na nag-iisip ka kung anong next mong sasabihin. Kasi kung yan lang sana ang ginagawa natin sa araw-araw, mas konti ang magiging problema natin. Lalo na yung mga vloggers na kagaya nating tatlo at mga nagbabasa sa atin, na kung nag-iisip lang sana tayo muna bago tayo mag-react on anything, long pauses, mas konti ang problema sa buhay.
Yeah. Anyway, so
merong nagsasabi dito, ano ba yan? Si Sadhguru. I follow Sadhguru. I actually ako lang siguro yung practicing Catholic na Hindu at saka Buddhist din at the same time.
Hindu at Buddhist ka na ba?
Well, I follow certain Hindu, okay, na mga itong si Sadhguru kasi is Hindu. So, ang nagustuhan ko kay Sadhguru is that, okay, meron siyang projects about nature. Meron siyang, he takes, okay, I think once a year, he has a program where he takes a group of people um, to, uh, to go climb, okay, Mount Kailash, okay, which is in his hometown. So it's a spiritual journey. Meron din siyang ashram, okay, sa kanyang hometown. And I actually finished, okay, his ano ba yun? Engineering. It's about how to engineer your life. Meron siyang program na ganyan. And um, ang maganda dun sa program na yon is that, okay, when you are doing the sessions, you're supposed to be in a quiet place, okay, wala kang telephone, you're not going to write anything, you're not going to read anything, you're just going to listen. So, itong sinasabi ni Ahmed, okay, pauses. Wala tayong ganyan kasi sa Christianity, apart from retreats. Kaya lang, ang nangyayari sa ating mga retreats is always about another person teaching you about something. So, it's not, ito nga sinasabi kong inner work. Hinduism, okay, as well as Buddhism, is a lot about inner work.
Yes.
And okay, kasi our lives, itong sinasabi ni mahal na Reyna, our lives are very noisy. We are bombarded by noise all the time. And even meron ng law sa Brazil that they are going to take out, alam mo yung mga malalaking billboards sa highway, sa road, they are merong law that they're going to take those out kasi that is noise. Kasi you are bombarded being bombarded by marketing that you did not say yes to. So, hindi natin ito, okay, when we are in social media and we are bombarded by ads, that is not something you said yes to. Ito nga sinabi natin before, di ba? Ano bang pinirmahan natin sa Facebook that they are front-loading things, okay, we did not really sign up for. So, noise, okay, it doesn't allow us to think about how we want to craft our lives. Di ba? So, kaya,
So, anytime you feel like ending this stream because it's getting so uncomfortable, okay lang. Because that is part of existentialism.
yes. So actually, okay, ikaw na, mahal na Reyna, how would you like to end? Ano parting words mo?
So, it just reminds me of my life back in the US with my friends kasi gaya nga niya, nagiinuman kami and everything, nagkikwentuhan kami ng mga things like what is life. But given na wala naman talaga akong background of philosophy and everything, so all of these theories sort of amazes me na para bang siya yung pumupuno ng puzzle na, ganun pala yun. You know, things like that. And it's nice na para bang gusto kong bumili ng libro ni Socrates at magbasa ako ngayon.
Why not?
Diba? So that's what I'm getting from this. I mean, these are alien to me, you know what I mean? But it kind of like fill in the blanks for things na tinatanong ko sa buhay ko na bakit ganito, you know what I mean? So it's nice to learn the theory of existentialism. So and I hope, sabi ko nga kagabi kay Hedda, sabi ko natakot ako sa topic natin bukas kasi wala akong kaalam-alam niyan. So, sabi ko, ang utak ko dito kay Ahmed. Sabi ko.
Pero di ba you are surprised that what existentialism talks about is exactly your life and everybody's life. Di ba na imposibleng wala kang alam sa buhay mo?
Yeah. So that is nice. And, you know, thank you for putting that out as a topic for discussion.
Yes. Yes, Hedda.
I think we have to acknowledge the fact that life gets exhausting.
Mm.
Lalo na when you try your best, to do things, for people that you love, people you're responsible for. And also, pag you are also working on yourself kasi, you wanted to grow, mga ganon, nai-exhaust ka, you get tired, di ba? And when you're trying to be a good person, and di ba marami kang roles, you parang, you need to see your friends, you need to look after relatives, ganyan. Eh, lalo ng Pilipino. Marami tayong demands, on our lives. Sometimes, we don't get to choose. So, it's important nga, na ito, when as a content producer, I always talk about me time. And I also talk about, I'm going to get off grid for a few days. I'm going to, get out, Pero pag may nakikita akong tweet ni Auntie, bumabalik ako kasi hindi ako
Grounding ang tawag dyan, grounding, anchoring.
Yes, so actually, ako kasi, I am a fake extrovert, a false extrovert, I am an introvert, and actually, you need to get out for a long time. You need to recover, lalo na pag naging busy, for instance, ang nation building, I need to get out, I need to get off grid, for about 2 days a week or something. So that is an important thing that I would like to leave, everybody behind with, na yung balance, It's not actually, a balance is such a cliche, word that we don't even understand when we're saying it. We don't even really understand what we're trying to say when we say balance. I would like to say inner work is important. Looking at our mortality is important, kasi it actually gives our lives more value when you do that. And space for quiet.
Yes. Oh well, ako naman, I feel like I tricked everyone here because because my objective for this, and now I am telling you this, but earlier I wanted it to be a surprise or a trickery, because I want to show the people that watch us and listen to us that that we are humans, that we are not bloggers in the sense na mga celebrities tayo and we have happy lives on our own and we don't have problems. That we are humans and we are existentially humans. We have no choice but to be like this. And the struggle here is that how to be yourself in the midst of every single person in this world who also have to struggle who to be themselves. So the easiest way for me to be authentic about my life is to live my life for others. Funny enough, that is what Jesus is talking about, Buddha is talking about, Allah and Muhammad is talking about. They are saying the same thing. And the only easy way of finding meaning to your life or to my life is really just to live it for other people. And that's all I want to leave with you. And that gotcha, naloko ko kayong lahat, no? Alright, maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig ninyo sa sente namin dito ngayong gabi. At bukas ay politika at saka economics naman ang pag-uusapan ni Edwin.
Ano economics sa pag-uusapan natin bukas?
Ano nga ba?
Hindi ko alam.
Martes.
If people want to know about federalism, merong comment kanina.
Yes. Ako rin.
Diba? Mahal na Reyna.
Yeah.
Bukas.
Yeah, I guess we could touch on that. Yeah.
Lahat-lahatin natin ang sarili natin on federalism because it's strange to a lot of people, including myself. And confronting a strange thing and deciding or being asked to decide immediately, do you like it, is a really hard thing to do. And therefore,
Yes.
I think that it will help us, every one of us, to discuss this in a simpler ways, in ways that we can connect with our own lives, so that they can have significance, so that we can
Yeah.
make decisions on these things, whether we like it or not.
And you could actually answer some of the philosophical side of it, especially the
Yes.
question on, are we ready?
Are we ready? Yes.
Di ba, that's a
issue
philosophical question.
yes, yung issue ng structure and behavioral change is really philosophy and existentialist and
Right.
psychology
Yeah.
na alin ba nauna, itlog o yung manok? O ang
Yeah.
structure ba o ang behavior change? And that's
Yeah.
so important because now that we are able to talk about who we are and our weaknesses and the stuff that we went through that completely fucked us up, and now we are ready to talk about other things that will probably make everyone in this stream great, including the listeners and the watchers and everyone.
Sige.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Kita-kita uli bukas kasama si Hedda at saka si Edwin and JP. Mamaya meron kaming live talk about politics and government again. And you can
Yeah.
join if you want, Hedda and Edwin, if you happen to pass by. You can come kasi si Sas ganun din.
Ako naman, I think I'm gonna have to go live also on my YouTube kasi gusto kong ulitin yung Falling Peso. May nagre-request, siguro estudyante ito. And I'm gonna have to do that.
Okay, if I am not otherwise engaged, I will go there and watch you again because I don't understand economics also.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Alright, maraming salamat po.
Maraming
Paalam,
salamat
ito na po
for
ang ating
watching.
rock music. Nasaan ba yung rock music natin? Teka muna. Yun. Oh.